It's always fun to reconnect with old friends. Sometimes I don't even remember they were old friends. I'm like, that name is familiar, that face is familiar. And Brian, you're one of those guys. And how could I forget Republic? I mean, I've told like 1,000 people about Republic, singing your praises, what you've done legislatively, what you've done to raise money for so many people, completely changing the game. And today, it's all about NFT. So, for just sake of us getting started, please introduce yourself, Brian, a little bit of background, and talk about Republic Crypto, and we'll dive into a conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Ian. Thank you so much for the kind words. And yeah, I remember your name. I know we recently just did a little Google search to make sure we knew each other from the same ways, and we did. So very excited about that. Yeah, my name is Brian. I'm the co-founder at Republic Crypto, and I also lead the advisory team at Republic Crypto. Just a short bio about myself. I started in engineering, moved on to startups, then went to big companies, and I was like, I don't like big companies. So now I'm back into startups, and now I support startups. I support blockchain startups. So within that, we try to support companies within all verticals within the blockchain industry, DeFi, NFTs, layer ones, and things like that. But yeah, the hottest thing these days is definitely NFTs. And I find myself, spending a lot of time both professionally and personally in the NFT space. So super stoked to be here. Thanks, Ian.
You have this really unique insight in that you get to break through all of the marketing, all of the branding, all of the sales jargon, all of the grandstanding and smoke and mirrors, because you get this deep, deep, deep exposure into what a company really is when they want to go to market and be able to attract attention for what their goals are. So when you think about community and you see all these things that are branded, community, it's decentralized, come to our Discord, it'll change your life. And then you kind of see what really is working underneath it all, especially for those companies that are still kind of getting things rolling. They're in a pre-seed stage. They're getting ready to launch their first really legitimate NFT campaign. What works best? Not the slogans, not the bumper stickers. What really works best? The hard work of building community for folks that are kind of just shifting their focus into the NFT.
Yeah, that is a great question. And that's something that I think a lot about because, in the early days of crypto, everyone was talking about how like community is the one unforkable asset. Ethereum is a great layer one because that's what the community is, right? And it was really hard for other layer ones to build that community. But I think now with NFTs, it's a lot more of a technology that allows communities to congregate around a shared interest. Say, people that like a certain type of art, people that like a certain type of genre. So in terms of like the NFT space and communities, I think the most important thing really is like how involved the founding team is to their earliest supporters. So like people come to a certain NFT project because they like the artwork, but they stay because the founders engage with them. They actually share useful information, not about just the project, but also about the industry as a whole. People commonly refer to that as alpha, right? So I think a lot of the strong communities are built around like the founding team seeding the community with good ideas and good conversation, but then the early community members also continuing on with that momentum and not only supporting the community about the project itself, but just like other projects in the space. So for example, I don't know if I can shout out communities specifically here, but I'm going to shout one out called MonkDAO on Solana. I'm part of MonkDAO, and the reason why I stayed was because I can go there and not only learn about the newest things about Solana monkey business, but also Solana NFTs as a whole. Like that way I don't have to go to every single other Discord or like scroll through all my Twitter, but I can just kind of go to this one place and learn about everything that's going on in the NFT space of Solana, which I thought was very valuable to me. And I think things like that, like just like the alpha knowledge, the community, the banter is like what gives people to stay. And that's really hard to replicate because like people's mind space, like you can't be extremely involved in multiple communities, right? You have to choose one. That's like the only way. So to be actually really involved, and then and where those people spend time, those are the strong communities.
When you consider outside community, we go to technology, platform, product. When you consider what's been built by a team, not what they're projecting they can build, but what's been built, what's really ready to go to market or already is to market and scaling, what is the most significant type of tech that's being built that you're like, this is it. Like this will scale. This will really get traction. This has the chance to really become a significant, platform for this community to thrive in. What's that?
Yeah, I would say specific to NFTs here, the biggest piece of tech that I would like to see get more mature is like DAO infrastructure technology. So what I mean by that is everybody says like, hey, I'm in a DAO, right? I spin up a Discord for my NFT, I'm a DAO. Like, yes, so DAO stands for decentralized autonomous organization. So there might be a group of decentralized people that are like somewhat organized in the Discord trying to make decisions. But really, the DAO infrastructure that I'm talking about is like, how can you provide some sort of interface for users to like formally propose votes, to formally know their voting power, to see their wallet balances? And how do you actually weight the votes per the users that are in the DAO, right? All that stuff currently is done very manually, either by like a thumbs up or a thumbs down to a comment on Discord, which is like, probably a good place to start, but not a scalable place to organize people. So I would definitely say DAO infrastructure.
About the future and not predicting what will be, but projecting what you hope to be. And I say NFT 2024. And you think, okay, 2-3 years out, what are you building toward? What is your community, the DAOs and also those involved with Republic, crypto? What are you building toward as a community of builders and, everybody that's.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I think that the future, let's just call it 3 or 4 years out with DAOs. I think that it would be really awesome if people that hold the NFT, which gives you membership into the DAO, are able to like really make connections and find their niche. I think like currently it's all limited to maybe crypto insiders for the most part these days. For the viewers and listeners out here, but the fact that you're watching this probably means you're a crypto insider. But down the road, then I want to see a world where people like with very obscure interests are able to find and connect with other people through a DAO. So say you're a fan of like collecting a very specific type of furniture or very specific type of like postage stamp, there's definitely a community out there for you. You just need to find it. And I think with the rise of these types of DAOs and people able to create, just groups really easily and easily discoverable through the internet and blockchain these days, like it just creates this, like it brings the world closer. So I think like that is the goal, right? That's the goal that I want to see. The world becomes closer, but the secondary thing to that is the technology is mature enough to service these people adequately. I think currently the infrastructure for all of this, the onboarding, like verification through Collabland, verification through Grape is still like early. It's obviously great technology and this is the way to start, but you still need to sign in with your wallet. You still need to know what a token is. So like the onboarding process is still a little tough just to like be verified into a DAO. So I would like to see that onboarding process much smoother. And I would like to see this technology accessible to like literally anybody with internet connection so they can find their community and like find their sense of belonging. And I think that's what's beautiful about NFT communities.
The final question, although, I'm like just getting started. I want to hang out with you for hours. We need like the long form Joe Rogan conversation. Maybe we'll do that when we're together in New York.
Yep.
Last question. You have everybody at NFT NYC in Times Square. This is, imagination. You have all the Times Square billboards. What's a message that you want to say to everybody? Not new people, not trying to attract them. They're the builders. They're your peers. They're the ones that are making things happen. What do they?
What is the message that I want to give to all the builders? I would like to really, tell people that the technology with NFTs is much more than just the JPEGs that back the NFTs. You're creating these like new communities around membership through shared interest. So think of like existing VIP programs, think of existing clubs, private clubs that are like kind of hard to find these days because you got to like be in a certain geography or know a certain amount of people or have a certain amount of money. Like those barriers are now all broken down. So you're building towards this future to create these like communities that are governed through DAOs and connected through shared interest. And really think of like what that impact is actually going to be for those of you that are building this technology, and think about those communities and think about all the people that you can really touch with this. And really you're democratizing the access to these types of unique clubs. And that's really what blockchain technology is all about. And NFTs are like kind of a pathway to do that. So stay true to your mission, know that you're doing good things for the people. And we're all extremely early and we're all going to make it.
You have stayed true to the mission. You have done great things for people, Brian. You've been dropping NFTs in partnership with NFT NYC for years. We're so grateful for you, for your organization. This event this year would not be the same without you. And I want you to know that's how we feel.
Thank you, Ian. I really appreciate it.
I mean it. For anybody that's watching us live, thank you for your attention. Or if you watch the archive, we appreciate you tuning in. My name is Ian Utilli, one of the co-producers of NFT NYC. Get the great honor of hanging out with amazing people like Brian. Brian, I'll see you in New York.
All right.